Lot and block legal description. Question 1. During review of a single-family home in Lansing, the parties discuss official authorization that a completed structure or space may be occupied for an approved use. Which term applies? Option A, taxation. Option B, subdivision regulation. Option C, certificate of occupancy. Option D, eminent domain. The correct answer is option C, certificate of occupancy. The document generally follows required inspections and confirmation of code compliance. Occupancy before issuance can violate local requirements. A change in use may require a new approval even without major construction. Question 2. An exam scenario presents land together with permanently attached improvements and associated legal rights. Which answer is most accurate? Option A, a tenancy at sufferance. Option B, bundle of rights. Option C, riparian rights. Option D, real property. The correct answer is option D, real property. The ownership interest also includes legally recognized rights such as possession, control, exclusion, enjoyment, and disposition. Land and items permanently attached to it are treated as immovable property. Movable belongings are classified separately unless they become fixtures. Question 3. A licensee preparing for a financing review must recognize water-related rights of owners whose land borders a flowing body of water. Which concept does this describe? Option A, riparian rights. Option B, cooperative ownership. Option C, government survey system. Option D, air rights. The correct answer is option A, riparian rights. The owner may have reasonable use of the water subject to public rights and the rights of other owners. State law determines the exact scope of use and ownership. Boundaries and access can change as the watercourse changes gradually. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Which answer correctly classifies a situation involving recorded notice that litigation may affect title to identified real property in the marketing review described? Option A, subdivision regulation. Option B, lease pendens. Option C, license. Option D, taxation. The correct answer is option B, lease pendens. It does not itself decide who will win the litigation. The notice warns purchasers and lenders that the lawsuit can determine property rights. A later transferee generally takes subject to the outcome of the pending case. Question 5. At an offer review in Grand Rapids, Imani explains co-ownership in which each owner has an undivided interest without a required right of survivorship. Which real estate principle is involved? Option A, riparian rights. Option B, planned unit development. Option C, tenancy in common. Option D, joint tenancy. The correct answer is option C, tenancy in common. An owner may transfer that individual share without the consent of the other owners, subject to existing agreements. At death, the interest passes through the owner's estate rather than automatically to the other co-owners. Co-owners may hold unequal shares while each retains the right to possess the whole property. Question 6. A transaction file for a mixed-use property raises an issue involving a legal description using directions, distances, monuments, and a point of beginning. Which answer best resolves the classification? Option A, severalty ownership. Option B, personal property. Option C, estate for years. Option D, metes and bounds. The correct answer is option D, metes and bounds. Natural or artificial monuments may help identify corners and boundary lines. A valid description returns to the starting point to close the tract. The description traces the parcel boundary through a sequence of calls. Question 7. Which concept should a buyer apply to facts involving the broadest private ownership interest of potentially unlimited duration? Option A, a fee simple absolute. Option B, joint tenancy. Option C, remainder interest. Option D, government survey system. The correct answer is option A, fee simple absolute. This estate provides the greatest collection of ownership rights recognized in private property. It may be sold, gifted, devised, or inherited and is not limited by a stated ending event. Government powers and private encumbrances can still restrict its use. Question 8. Amina is studying a rule concerning a standard 1-square-mile unit in the government survey system. Which term should be chosen? Option A, a tenancy by the entirety. Option B, section. Option C, cooperative ownership. Option D, township. The correct answer is option B, Section. It forms one of 30-6 numbered divisions in a standard township. A regular the 1-square-mile survey division contains 640 acres. Fractional descriptions divide this unit into halves, quarters, and smaller parts. Are you looking for real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access real estate study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get real estate answer key today. Question 9. When a rental home transaction involves movable items that are not permanently attached to land, which answer identifies the controlling concept? Option A, remainder interest. Option B, metes and bounds. Option C, personal property. Option D, literal rights. The correct answer is option C, personal property. Movable belongings generally remain separate from the real estate. An item may change classification if it is permanently installed as a fixture. They can usually be transferred by delivery or a bill of sale rather than by deed. Question 10. A practice question describes a use right acquired through open, continuous, adverse use for the statutory period. Which response is best? Option A, pischeat. Option B, taxation. Option C, police power. Option D, easement by prescription. The correct answer is option D, easement by prescription. The result is a limited right of use rather than ownership of the land. The claimant uses another person's land without permission in a manner that satisfies legal requirements. Secret or occasional use generally will not establish the right. Question 11. During a property management audit, which principle is illustrated by government action that requires compensation because private property has been acquired or excessively burdened for public use? Option A, taking. Option B, police power. Option C, easement by prescription. Option D, lease pendens. The correct answer is option A, taking. Courts evaluate the character and economic impact of the government action. Ordinary valid regulation does not automatically create a compensable claim. A direct acquisition is the clearest form, while some severe regulations may also qualify. Question 12. Which answer states the concept associated with individual ownership of a unit combined with an undivided interest in common elements in the buyer consultation described? Option A is subsurface rights. Option B, condominium ownership. Option C, riparian rights. Option D, remainder interest. The correct answer is option B, condominium ownership. Financing and transfer generally involve the individual unit rather than shares in a corporation. Association documents govern maintenance, assessments, and use restrictions. The unit owner receives title to a defined space and shares ownership of common areas. Question 13. A buyer representative handling a warehouse in Marquette must identify an ownership interest measured by the lifetime of a named person. Which choice is correct? Option A, fixture. Option B, township. Option C, life estate. Option D, point of beginning. The correct answer is option C, life estate. The holder may possess and use the property while the measuring life continues. The interest ends automatically at death and then passes to the future interest holder. The life tenant must avoid waste that harms the property for later owners. Question 14. During a contract revision for a townhouse in Holland, Karen needs to identify the rule described as a local law dividing land into districts and regulating permitted uses and development standards. Which answer applies? Option A, a conditional use. Option B, non-conforming use. Option C, easement by prescription. Option D, a zoning ordinance. The correct answer is option D, zoning ordinance. A property owner must comply unless a lawful exception or relief applies. The regulation may control use, height, setbacks, density, and similar development features. Private deed restrictions can impose additional limits beyond zoning. Question 15. A property manager is reviewing a vacant parcel in Hagerstown. Which term describes a land-use area separating incompatible uses or protecting sensitive resources? Option A, buffer zone. Option B, taxation. Option C, deed restriction. Option D, eminent domain. The correct answer is option A, buffer zone. Landscaping, open space, distance, or limited development may reduce impacts between neighboring properties. The area supports compatibility rather than creating a separate ownership estate. Local zoning or environmental rules may establish the required width and permitted activities. Question 16. At a marketing review, a Michigan exam candidate encounters the following description: a development arrangement combining individually owned property with shared facilities or common areas. Which concept is being tested? Option A, government survey system. Option B, planned unit development. Option C, cooperative ownership. Option D, remainder interest. The correct answer is option B, planned unit development. The design may mix housing types and uses under an approved development plan. Owners usually hold title to their lots or units and share responsibilities through an association. Recorded declarations and rules control common expenses and use restrictions. Question 17. Daria is assisting with an office building transaction in Salisbury. Which principle applies when the facts involve a future interest retained by the grantor after conveying a lesser estate? Option A, a trade fixture. Option B, a remainder interest. Option C, reversion interest. Option D, township. The correct answer is option C, reversion interest. No new deed is required for the interest to return according to the original conveyance. This differs from a remainder, which is created in someone other than the grantor. The grantor keeps the right to regain possession when the temporary estate ends. Question 18. Which answer most accurately identifies a 6-mile-square survey unit containing 30-6 sections under the rectangular survey system in a real estate transaction? Option A is subsurface rights. Option B, hair rights. Option C, condominium ownership. Option D, township. The correct answer is option D, township. Section numbers within the grid follow a standard back minus and minus fourth pattern. A regular the survey grid unit covers 30-6 square miles before adjustments for irregularities. The survey grid units are located by their positions north or south of a baseline and east or west of a principal meridian. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A question arising during pre-listing meeting concerns the rights associated with minerals and resources below the land surface. Which choice gives the best classification? Option A is subsurface rights. Option B, government survey system. Option C, riparian rights. Option D, reversion interest. The correct answer is option A, subsurface rights. These interests can be separated from surface ownership by sale, lease, or reservation. A surface owner may not own every mineral interest affecting the parcel. Title review should identify severed mineral rights and access provisions. Question 20. While analyzing a historic residence, Talia must apply the concept involving possession by a tenant who remains after a lawful lease has ended without the landlord's consent. Which answer should be selected? Option A, lot and block system. Option B, tenancy at sufferance. Option C, township. Option D, literal rights. The correct answer is option B, tenancy at sufferance. This status is different from trespass at the beginning because the original possession was valid. The occupant entered legally but stays beyond the authorized period. The landlord may pursue lawful eviction or accept rent and create a new tenancy. Question 21. Which real estate term is defined by a future ownership interest held by a third party after a life estate ends? Option A, a tenancy by the entirety. Option B, lot and block system. Option C, remainder interest. Option D, a subsurface rights. The correct answer is option C, remainder interest. This future right becomes possessory when the preceding life estate terminates. The current life tenant and future owner have separate but related interests. The holder is identified when the life estate is created rather than receiving title back from the grantor. Question 22. In a transaction involving a subdivision lot, which rule controls when there is permission to depart from a zoning requirement because strict application creates a qualifying hardship? Option A, subdivision regulation. Option B, taking. Option C, mechanics lien. Option D, a variance. The correct answer is option D, variance. The zoning relief should not be confused with a use permitted automatically by the zoning classification. The relief addresses a property minus specific difficulty rather than changing the district rules for everyone. The applicant must satisfy the standards established by local law. Question 23. A tenant asks about the legal ability to use or control space above a parcel. Which answer provides the legally accurate concept? Option A, hair rights. Option B, meets and bounds. Option C, tenancy at will. Option D, life estate. The correct answer is option A, heir rights. Development above rail lines, roads, or existing structures often depends on this interest. Zoning and safety regulations still control what may be built. These rights may be sold, leased, or limited separately from surface ownership when law permits. Question 24. Caleb encounters personal permission to enter or use land that does not create an ownership interest during a buyer consultation. Which principle should guide the analysis after reviewing transaction document 24? Option A, non-conforming use. Option B, license. Option C, taxation. Option D, deed restriction. The correct answer is option B, license. Unlike an easement, this privilege usually cannot be transferred as a permanent property right. Tickets and temporary access permissions are common examples. The permission is generally revocable and does not run with the land. Question 25. Which choice best matches the description government authority to regulate property use for public health, safety, morals, and welfare? Option A, encroachment. Option B, general lien. Option C, police power. Option D, subdivision regulation. The correct answer is option C, police power. State and local governments rely on this authority to adopt zoning, building, and safety rules. The regulation does not require compensation merely because it limits a use, provided it remains a valid public regulation. An extreme restriction that removes all economic use may raise a separate taking issue.